Okay, now the recording has started. So thank you very much, guys, for joining tonight. I'm really grateful to be in this platform to share the piece of knowledge that I have concerning finances. I don't claim to be the monopoly of all knowledge. I just have a portion of knowledge which I find it to be more critical and to be more useful. So I believe even this evening we're going to learn more and be able to engage more. So but before we start, I just wanna do a one check that we normally do or love to do when we do a what is so-called financial counseling. So financial counseling, it goes beyond just sitting and talking. It now moving from the ordinary world of finance and we go to finance and psychology. So that's my background. I'm coming from this psychological background with finance in it. So just want to do a check. You can open your mic. Just okay. I'll start with Winnie there at the top. You can open your mic and then I ask you one question, then I'll follow through that question. Yeah, says Yvonne, your mic is already on. Winnie there. Your mic is still off. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ndabenzung now. I just
Wow.
you're at the top of my screen at the first place.
Oh, my word.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to check how many hours do you sleep in like not like today 1 hour, tomorrow 7 hours, six, like following a routine. Do you have a routine, a sleeping routine? And then if yes, how many hours do you sleep?
That depends on how busy I am, but normally it's between 6 and 7 hours.
Okay.
But if
So
I'm tired, like today I think I slept like 9 hours. Slept
okay,
9 hours.
okay. It says Yvonne, how many hours do you sleep?
It's roughly 6.5 hours to be precise,
Okay.
but
Like do you
sometimes
have
I sleep less than that.
okay, do you have a sleeping routine or you just sleep anytime you just feel like you wanna sleep, you sleep?
I have a sleeping routine. I sleep at 10 and I wake
Okay.
up exactly 4:30 in the morning.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking this, I'll just now start to teach like a psychologist now. The reason I'm asking this is that most of our financial problems, if we wanna get them right, we have to deal with our sleeping routine first. Because our sleeping routine, it is connected together with our what is so called the stress level. So if the sleeping routine is not right, usually it affects also how you function as a person. When you go to a dietitian, the dietitians they'll normally tell you how you need to eat this, you eat this, you eat this, and this you don't eat. But when you do the study of where do we get most of our energy, I know like from experience, you sometimes experience days where you according to your time to your sleeping routine, you slept in time, but you wake up tired, like it's still morning, but you feel like I can go back to sleep again. And then sometimes you assume it's okay, this tiredness comes from maybe I didn't get enough sleep. But what you need to understand, when the dietitian now tells you that you need to eat right, it's okay. But the truth is this: 75% of the energy which we have in our physical bodies, it does not come from the food that we eat, but it comes from what's happening in our psychological world. So if mentally, which is going now to be going like, let me just sum it in like psychological, like if there are some strains in my soul, even if I eat good, the body cannot respond to what's coming in because the response needs to be geared by the energy that comes from the psychological world. So if in my psychological space I am not well, even if I can try to eat right, that thing cannot contribute as it's supposed to contribute in the body. So one psychologist suggested this. He says if we want to deal with most of our financial problems, we need to go back again also to check our sleeping routine. And then, like in my mind, I was like, sometimes they teach about 7 steps, how to keep your mind healthy, 15 steps, but we forget this important part that we need to create a certain routine which is going to assist us to deal with most of our day-to-day challenges and also day-to-day needs or demands that we are facing. So it's critical for us to make sure that we create a good sleeping routine. And then the good sleeping routine now, it will lead to us to take care of what's coming in. This philosopher said, you cannot stop birds from flying upon your head, but you can stop them to build nest in your head. Like it's a proverb. In other words, you cannot stop thoughts to fly. Like there are a lot of thoughts which we are battling with every day. There are a lot of thoughts which comes, like sometimes they maybe are sitting there, you're thinking of future, a lot of thoughts coming in, maybe you're thinking of another project which you have started, whether it's a building project, whether like a lot of thoughts will come, and in that time there'll be contention in your mind. It's either it will weigh you in a negative side, or you will be able to navigate through those thoughts and go through the positive side. So if now you can control the level of your stress and have a good sleeping routine, most of the problems, which you call them problems, it's easier to defeat them. But if you cannot get these two knots together, it becomes difficult to deal with most of these things. It becomes more difficult. So if now we can cash into that, and I always think of this thing in this way, that sometimes we spend too much time thinking of how we can create wealth and spend less time on how we can take care of ourselves in terms of our health. But we need to go back in that and invest enough time also in terms of dealing with our health, our mental health, our physical health. We need to spend enough time for that. But also when you deal with physical health, because most of the people that I know, since Yvonne, when I pass the street every morning, I see people running. But the running is good because it's for the physical part. But what contributes to the physical part most of the time is what's running in your mind. So you need to take care of that space. It's saturated to the point that like it's too sensitive. If you can be able to take care of that, it's far much easier to take care of the physical part. It's like if you say you wanna lose weight, there's a certain part in your brain. Uh, if that part is overweight with stress, when even if you can say you practice diet, it brings more, like what's it called, more appetite in you. Like sometimes people wake up at night and eat and feel like, no man, at night I feel like I want to eat more. So like eating was because that part is triggered by stress, and it causes you to want to eat more and eat more, and even after eating you feel like you want to eat more. It's because it's triggered in that way. So if you can't control that part, even if you say, no, I want to lose weight, that part is triggered most of the time by stress, which it leads you most of the time to eating and other stuff. So we need now to shape that space and have a proper balance. So now going back to the issue of budgeting, as yesterday we're supposed to have our budget as a state, but it was delayed because of what is so-called some disagreements, which I don't know whether they're true or what, whatever the game they are playing. But end of the day, we must have a budget as a nation. As far as they postpone it, there are a lot. I think there are a lot that is happening around that. So most of the time when we have stuff like budgeting, I always advise people that we still need to do some adjustments. I know January we had some plans that we have planned and say this is our plans and this is what the plan, like we need to follow through these plans. But after reading the budget will give you the reality of where you are. So if now I have this kind of income, and then the Minister of Finance say we are going to have increase in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If they can increase petrol, you need to know that the production is going to, logistic and production is going to be affected. I mean, there will be increase in food. There will be increase in a lot of the day-to-day stuff that we are using. So if that increase happens, it means I also need to go back to my planning, to my budgeting, to see where to adjust. The most mistake that most of us we commit is that we continue with life normally even after the budget is being set. And after the budget is being shared, you need to go back to, as I've said, we had our plans at the beginning of the year. But because those guys, they are the one who legislate policies, when they say a word, things start to move. So if they say we're going to increase petrol, if they say maybe we're going to increase even the VAT, we need to go back again and ask ourselves questions. What is it that I can cut? Which area do I need to adjust? Do I need to adjust? Or okay, there is this example that our pastor used during the morning prayer today, because normally 5 o'clock we do morning prayer. So he said some problems are like these. I like a blanket. He said, let's say you have a small blanket and it's cold. You try to cover yourself. And when you cover your feet, you discover that you are exposed. Your face is exposed, your hands are exposed. So when you drag that same blanket and you try to cover your head, your legs are exposed. He said, these are some of the people who are having financial problems. And then when they try to cover this part is exposed. When they try to cover this part, the other part is left exposed. He said, in that situation, the blanket is a problem because it can't be able to cover the whole of you. So what you need a blanket that can be able to cover the whole of you. So, but you need to analyze it. What is the problem? Is it me? Like, am I too tall for the blanket, or the blanket is not of a good size based on my body shape? And then in that state, if you have analyzed the problem, that's where you said, I need a blanket which is longer so that I'll be able to cover the whole body. So you discover that when you sit down and analyze your financial situation, that's why you said, this guy, after I've read this budget, I've discovered that what I'm earning cannot be enough. It cannot sustain me at all. I need now to build something which can sustain me. So I'm planning to arrange a class of side hustles. I just need to balance my days because already we have an appointment with that that lady who works at SARS, who's going to do estate planning. So she's going to cover a lot of topics in terms of estate planning. So I have to balance, where do I put this? So that day when I'm going to teach about what is it called, side hustle or building a extra stream of income, I want to, there is this part that we have missed most of the time. When it comes to your salary is not meant to pay for your expenses like your grocery, your car, and everything. Like you start by building a small side hustle. I always tell people that there is no such things called a small money. Money is money. Even if I can make 5 rand a day, is money. If I can count that in my mind, it will give me the strength to continue to press and add more. So you need to build side hustles that are able to take care of your day-to-day needs. I want to give an example. The car which I'm driving now is for now. I'm not using my money to pay that car. I'm not using my money to pay that car. I'm not using my money to pay the insurance. I just contribute a bit of it to pay the gadgets because I'm working with a lot of gadgets. Like even now, I don't have electricity, but I need to use a backup that takes care of everything so that I won't be distracted. A bit of it if I have to. So all these things, I'm able to take care of them using side hustles. I'm able to take care of them using side hustles. So what I call the main income, I just swipe it to go there for investment. So normally when you think of there is this verse what in like says Evoni Johnson like okay okay, it says Yvonne, because it's okay also to engage. I also want to hear your thoughts. You can open your mic. Loco, in the Bible, we only have one chapter. The whole Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, only have one chapter that speaks of creation. So, in terms of creation, like it says, even according to your views, like vana mukanyi hinkwayo kusuka mukanyi kusuka la kaya ya fika thula mahaxi ndlela ya bush yi famba, like how did God came around those things? Like a fane xota like lo xilwala xi tekiwe na misinya mukanyi vhemi la misava leyi hinkwayo, like how did he came about that?
I can say it's through the strategic planning that God had.
Mm, okay.
Mm.
Okay. So loco mlangtisa kuna, like in creation, there is a part of God where God introduced all these things that we see here physical. And there is human part where a man comes in to play his own part. Like for instance, God never initiated a table. He never created. There's no verse that say, and God
Mhm.
made a table. But what he did, he created a tree, and he gave men brains to say, what do you see when you look at this? It's a matter of perspective. There is this verse in the book of Proverbs. It says, in English, it says, there is one thing which is common. The rich and the poor, both of them, they're created by God. But when you read it in the original version, which is the Hebrew version, it does not say the rich and the poor, both of them, they're created by God. It says there is something common about the rich and the poor. But when it continues, it says the result of them becoming poor and rich is the result of sight. Sight as to see. So what the writer is bringing there, he said, the result of these two individuals, both of them are created by God, but the outcomes of their lives is determined of what is it that they saw. Like when God created that tree, he never said tree table written, like it's a tree. But you need to know how to commercialize that thing. You need to turn the tree to be more profitable. So now when you look at it, whether you'll be looking at it and you see a tree, but God says in that tree there is a table hidden in it. So it's up to you now to be able to design, okay, I can turn this thing to be productive. Well, how can I turn it? It is now to turn the table to be what? To be a table. So when God planted this thing, like the trees that we see, let's give an example by a mango tree. A mango, like he never went out and planted all these mango trees. What he did according to the law that he presented them. That's why there was an argument, especially people from church, they were saying, why is it that it seems like people who are at church, they are not prosperous like the guys who are in the world? It seems like the guys who are in the world, they are more prosperous. And I answered them simple. I said, principles, they don't respect whether you church or not church. If you can practice a principle, it's easier for you to become successful. I gave an example by the force of gravity. I said, a Christian can climb upon a tree or a house and jump. A result will be the same. A person does not go to church can climb also and jump. Still, the result will be the same. Why is the force of gravity? That's a law. Force of gravity is a law. It governs everything that goes up, it must come down. So if one of them can decide to obey the principle and say, I won't jump, but I'll just find steps and go down, the other one who's going to use steps is going to be saved. Whether it's a Christian or not a Christian, that person obeyed the principle, and the principle helped the person to be successful. So what God did there, according to the principle, he planted one tree. That one tree said a tree will have a seed in it. The seed will be able to be planted, and when it's planted, it's going to give another tree. So in simplicity, it's like this. A seed is a promise of a tree. The burial of a seed is a burial of a forest. So if you want to have a forest, you must start by having a tree. If you kill the tree, you kill a forest. If you kill the seed, you kill a tree. It's what? It's a rotation. So the seed is just it's a picture of what you're going to have in the future, which is a tree. A tree is a picture of what you're going to have in the future, which is a forest. So if you kill the seed, you have killed a tree. If you kill a tree, you have killed a forest. You will never see a forest because you never had a tree. So what God now said, okay, one tree with many fruits, the fruits are going to have seed in it. So if you eat the fruit, don't eat the seed. You need to replenish it. You need to plant it back so that you'll be able to bear more. So because we didn't understand, there is no reverse in this principle. It's always going forward. Because most of us, we didn't understand the principle. Your salary becomes a tree. Your salary is a seed. It becomes a seed. So if now I'm using my salary to pay expenses, and then after that I'm waiting for my employer to pay me, in other words, I'm waiting for another seed, and the seed will come back again. I use it. I'm left with no seed in my hand. In other words, there will be no tree in my life. And if there is no tree in my life, there will be no forest in my life. If I die, my generation are not going to inherit anything which I build or value out of that, because a salary must be turned to work for me. And in order for the salary to be turned to work for me, in simplicity, they say you need to turn money to work for you. In order for me to turn the money to work for me, I need not to chop that seed, but I need to put it in a space where it can be cultivated to bring more what? To bring more trees. And if I have more trees, I'm going to have what? A forest. But it doesn't start as a forest, it starts as a tree, it starts as a seed becomes a tree becomes what? A forest. So what most of us were not taught at the young age, we're not taught that you don't need to use your salary in order for you to take care of yourself. Build a side hustle. When you build a side hustle, so you are able now to take your salary and reinvest it in a space where it can bring more what? It can bring more seeds. And more seeds means what? More opportunities for you. That's why that writer who write in the book of Ecclesiastes said, you need to cast out your seed in different spaces because you don't know which one's going to bring you a revenue. So it's all about now, I need now to scatter my seed in different places. I don't need to chow it, I need to scatter it. That's the principle. You never said eat it, you say cast it, then later on it is going to be a fruit, it's going to bring more result in your life. So what we're not taught when it comes to management, we're not taught stuff like, bro, you don't chow the seed, you plant the seed and become patient and do the same thing over and over again. While on the other hand, you use your side hustles to be able to take off your own life. You can be able now to buy grocery, you can be able now to pay your bond, you can do a lot of stuff using your side hustle. While your main income, which is your salary, you are reinvesting it to bring more value. So what happens that if now you repeat the same cycle of using the side hustles to take care of your life and then using your salary to be able to invest it, later on your salary will give you what you call financial freedom. Financial freedom give you the ability to do life in your own terms. You wake up in your own time, you do things in your own terms. So, but if you don't have financial freedom, someone must decide when to wake up, when to knock in. Like they will tell me that you must come to work at 7. If maybe I happen to come at 7:30, I need to have like a two pages of explanation explaining to them when I was late that the driver got this punch and say no, you will give your warning because I'll tell. But now if I'm able to have financial freedom, I do life in my own terms. The most valuable thing which I value here on earth is to spend quality time with the people that I love. Like, I don't know, not been maybe in a certain age and regret how I was supposed to spend time with my daughter, but because of business, I didn't. So financial freedom buys me time to be able to spend quality time with those people, to do life in my own terms, and to pursue things that I love. I don't want to find myself now being stuck in a job which I don't love, but because I want money for survival, I have to go to that job. I want to do something which I love. I want to do something which when I wake up in the morning, I feel motivated to do it. Whether the result are negative or positive, I have that thing inside of me, the burning zeal to say, beyond just having money in doing this, I'm passionate about doing this thing. So I started I started in the corporate world. I was in the corporate world. The first company I worked for was working for Barloworld. Barloworld, in fact, I did two transition in Barloworld. I started to work in Barloworld Chemical. I was doing the chemicals first time. And I do a transition, move from Barloworld Chemical, and I went to Barloworld Logistics. Barloworld Logistics, we're shifting a lot of things there because those guys, they have to import and export in that company. So, and later on, I move out from the corporate world. Now I started to say, let me just push what I love. And it was not easy. It was not like that exit Barloworld and then automatically I find myself here. It was a journey. It was a journey, and it was a long journey, and I'm still in that journey. So the thing is this, like, those years which I've spent in Barloworld, I've made a lot of financial mistakes because I never had that mentality of saying I need to use my side hustles to take care of my lifestyle and use this income which I'm earning here to build a bridge for me to exit this life where I'm living by someone's terms. I never had that mentality. I was not taught. In fact, I was taught how to study hard and to find a good paying company so that you'll be able to afford the things that you want. But when you speak of affordability, it goes beyond just being able to buy a car or buy a house. Affordability goes to the level where I'm able to afford time. Like if there's kid can call me and say, my daughter's graduating on Wednesday. I don't have to call someone to ask for permission. I just wake up and say, Wednesday I'm going out. I'm going to my daughter's graduation, and I'll be there without even maybe taking a time. And my boss say by 12 o'clock I need to come back. I'll be there enjoying my time with my daughter. That's the thing. The greatest thing that I want to treasure here on earth is to spend quality time with the people that I love. But to do that, I need to buy myself out of that system of rotation where I trade time for money instead of trade money for time. But it's a cycle of being able to shift that. And then the most difficult part is that when I start now to teach people about this, some of them, they'll be like, sorry, they'll be like, already we have committed ourselves in a lot of debts, we have a lot of commitments now. We're paying off cars, bonds. So it feels like it's not even too late for them. It's a process of now trying to build from that and be able to shift from there. So that's where we're supposed to start. All of us, not most of us, all of us are supposed to start from that. Here it is, I have my job. Let me just build. And also building a simple lifestyle. Building a simple lifestyle helps a lot. I remember the other day I went to the garage with my young brother, and they were saying like, oh, take these bands. And we entered the bands. They said, start the bands. They said, hey. And it was like, no, take this one. I said, not now. Not now. I always have this principle. Just because I can, it doesn't mean I have to. Just because I can, it doesn't mean I have to. I study times, and I always also have this principle. Whenever I do a project or buy something, I still have to have my own life. So, sorry, I am struggling with flow, guys. So, what do I mean about this? If they can say I'm building a house, I will be building a house, but if you go to my bank account, you'll find that I have a lot of money which has nothing to do with the house. If I buy a car, I can pay that car, but still I'm able to live flexible throughout the month without any struggle or borrowing money from this one, borrowing from this. I still have a lot of it in my account. So that's my principle. Like, I can't start a project without matching it to say, after paying this, if they say this whole project of building this house is going to be 300,000, am I going to be left with 0 in my account or 10,000? No, I can't have that. I need to have a balance that even if I'm doing this project, I still have balance in my account. So it's a lifestyle of planning and the ability to say no. So let's check the simple facts about budget. Let me bring the screen on. Okay. What is personal budgeting? So personal budgeting is a tool. We call it personal budget, not just budget, but personal budgeting. Personal budgeting is a tool that helps you to gain control over your finances and make informed spending decisions and work towards your financial goals. Let me just take it slow. Personal budgeting, as we say, is a tool that helps you to gain control over your finances. So it's like this. Without budgeting, your emotions will take control over your finances. And when your emotions take control over your finances, that's why you lose everything, because you'll buy based on your emotions, because you'll be driven by emotions. The need to buy now, which you call it early gratification. The feeling of feel like, as far as you go to shops, you find they put a sale there and saying, this item is on sale, it's R2.99, and you feel like, yo, if I miss it today, I won't find it again. And you are now led by emotions. But whenever budgeting is, it's easier to track through and say, but I don't have money for this, or I don't have a budget for this. I do have money in my account. Like, I have different accounts. I have allocated money in all accounts, but for this one, I don't have any budget for it. So if I don't have any budget for it, then I can't buy it. That's why you take control, because emotions, they're always in motion. They always change. But the fact remains the same. If you have misused your finances, the fact will remain the same, but your emotions will definitely change. There is this hype, I don't know if you have ever noticed. There is a psychological hype that happens now. When you are in need of something, like it drives you to feel like you need it. And then you buy it, you become so excited. But maybe after an hour or after a day or 2 days, the same thing that you were so excited with, the excitement is no longer there. And when the excitement fades away, that's where you face the reality of your own finances. That thing, it's like, I don't know what they call it, but it's sort of like an emotion. It pushes you to the edge that you need it. And after buying it, You'll have maybe an hour, 2 hours, or a day. After a day, like the emotion is gone. Now you face the reality. You are no longer excited as you were excited, because that emotion that was pushing you is no longer there. You have to face the reality of the decision which you made. And in fact, when you wanna buy it, you have all these answers in your head. I'll cover this money by this and that, by this and that. And a day you lose control over your finances. So personal budgeting, it helps you to take control, because you need to take control. So it also informs your spending decision. So your spending decision should not be informed by how much money you have. It should be informed by your budgeting. So you always refer to your budgeting when you want to spend. And one of my clients last week, she told me, like, she said, there are some things which I prefer to buy without telling you, because, when I tell you, tell me about the next 5 years, what will happen in the next 5 years. And she said, hey, yeah, you are. And I said, it's not like that, but you need to make informed decisions, because at the end of the day, it's your own finances. You know your own struggle. That if you use this money without being responsible, later on, you're going to face your own consequences, and I won't be there. So it helps you now to make informed decision based on your own budget, not based on maybe what your friend is suggesting or based on what you're feeling in that moment. But budgeting, it informs your decision. So it's like a GPS. It tells you when to turn or when to keep straight. So without any indication from your budget, you can't make any decision. You can't make any turn. Like your GPS will tell you in 400 kilometers, you'll turn left. So you follow through that. But without budgeting, you just spend anytime, anyhow. And sometimes some of the struggles which you face, especially you ladies, they fail to deal with the excitement when we're in the spotlight. Because what I've noticed about women, most of the time, they go in groups, like maybe they go to town as friends, maybe 2 or 3, and then suddenly my friends say, okay, no, I want to buy something there. Let's just chill in that restaurant. And then you're chilling there. And if you start one say, I want to buy drink and water. Another day you'll be like, let me buy something. But according to your plan, when you're not even there to pass by that restaurant, but because your friends now are there, like women find it difficult to handle that kind of excitement when they're in that spotlight, and they were there just to buy a simple item. Another day they end up in a certain restaurant, they end up buying some stuffs. Later on, you discover that it wasn't even part of your budget. Later on, you think I'm going to struggle financially because I've spent money which I was not supposed to spend. Hence, when they have goals, most of them they go to their budgeting and say, I'll recover this money and spend. And they took money from the goals that you have already set. And they fail to reach their own goals. But now when you have a personal budgeting, it informs a decision, not your emotion informing you, but your personal budgeting informs you. So personal budgeting is not just a way to track spending, it's a way to track behavior. So one writer has said 80% of financial problems are not about lack of knowledge, but they are all about behavior. So my behavior affects my finances, which now I have to do. When it comes to behavior, you are dealing with a lot of things that you have to deal with. You have to dig deep to deal with a lot of things there. So it's a question of how's your behavior when you have money. And I want to tell you something, guys. Now, it's easier for you to assume you can resist temptations when you don't have money. But when you have the more of it, that's where you are able to see even this side which you never thought that you have. And then people will say, no, money does not change people. It amplifies what is inside of you. If inside of you there were hidden stuff, money will amplify them. If they were not there, you will not see them. But if you don't have money, it's not easier to see them. That's why personally, I don't trust people who are humble when they don't have money. Let them have money and see them whether they'll remain humble. If they don't have money, they can be humble, like even kneeling down with their full face. And let them have money, you will see the true character of who they are. So, personal budgeting, it also proves the kind of behaviors that you need to deal with in terms of awareness self, because what we project as financial problems, sometimes those stuff they are rooted inside of us, in the connection of where we're coming from, in the connection of there was so-called even financial childhood traumas. Some people they deal with such stuffs. So with personal budgeting, that's where you're able to go and track those things. Someone was asking me and said, when are you going to start to buy Gucci? I said, maybe if maybe I feel like not inspired by a feeling, man. Now I also have my dressing style. But in terms of that, I always fight with this. I don't want to dress to fit in so that people will feel like that guy has made it because now he's wearing Gucci. If it falls under my dressing taste, I will go with it. And the motive must be pure in this sense. I don't do it to prove a point to anyone that I made it. I do it because this is what I love. End of the day, I don't want to be enslaved to live a life that is governed by the society. I always try my best not to be like the society or to think like anyone within my space. I just want to be me. I just want to be ordinary. I just want to be me. I just want to live my own life in my own terms. So as I'll only buy it if it falls under the container of my dressing style and with a free motive that I don't buy it because I want people to see me that I made it in life. No, it's not like that. I do have clients who come to me, some they are wearing their Gucci's, their Louis Vuitton. I'm not even maybe intimidated. I'm listening to their stories, helping them where I can help them and be able to say, okay, bro, you can do this, but you need this and this and that. You need to build this and that. Was this thing. I remember, I think it was during COVID or before COVID. There was this guy. This guy, he was having 600 million. 600 million. That guy came for a meeting for financial advice, driving a Corolla, simple Corolla. And the place which he requested for that meeting is KFC. And looking at him having 600 million, if it was someone from here, even if it was 2 million, it'll be, let's meet at this 5-star hotel. I'm going to pay this way, and then you come. The guy just say KFC, 600 million. There is nothing about him that says I have 600 million up until he tells you this is what I have or shows you this is what I have, 600 million. Hasn't an advice, what do I do with the 600 million? And when you look at the car's Corolla, when you look at him, it doesn't even seem like a 600 million. I call that liberty. There is no need, like there is no sense inside of me that say, push it so that you'll be seen. You have it. And most of the time when you have it, you don't have the need to prove that you have it. But when you're broken, even if you don't have it, even if just a mere cent, you try by your best to prove to people that I have it. So when you have your personal budgeting, it helps you. And I wanna tell you this simple principle. When your income increase, don't increase lifestyle, increase your assets. When your income increase things which are going to bring you more money. Because you want to liberate yourself from those things and say, I'm living in someone's terms. When your income increase, don't increase the lifestyle. Always go down and increase your assets. When your income increase, don't say, now I qualify to buy a new iPhone every year. Just be there. Then be there in that level while you increase your own assets. When they brag about this, brag about your assets. When they brag about something which is going to lose value later, brag about something which is going to bring value later. Simplify your lifestyle. Don't complicate your lifestyle. So there is this writer called F.M. Alexander. He said, people do not decide their future. People, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. So if you wanna see where you're going to be tomorrow, you don't need the prophet who will say, I see you at the top of things. You just look at your habits. Your habits will tell you where you're going to be. So people, they don't decide their future. They decide their habits. Their habits decide their future. And it's a question of what kind of habits have you developed when it comes to finances? Do you track your habits? Are you able to track? Because sometimes, you know what is our downfall? The small spendings. I like that's our greatest weakness, because like, charcoal drink at 10 rand is nothing. You buy, Maritama 12 rand inchu buy those small. There is this Asian proverb. It says, a sink does not ship because of these huge blows. It sinks because of those small holes. They say a small holes can cause a ship to go down, a big ship. So those small spending, that's why vatsonga va ku nsokoti wu wise ndlopfu, and loko u cheka nsokoti, loko u cheka size ya nsokoti, u cheka size ya ndlopfu, swi hambane kule. But they are bringing this sense that says you must be careful of those small things that you don't even pay attention to, because those small things, they can bring you down, and without even paying attention to them. So sometimes our greatest is those small habits, because when you said that book of Atomic Habits, it speaks of small changes affects big changes. They said if you want to make big moves, don't make big moves, make small moves. Those small moves are going to affect the bigger things. They're going to affect the value chain. So what kind of habits have you developed? Because you don't decide your future, you decide your habits. The habits are going to decide your future. So you need to track those habits. You need to track those small spendings. You need to track those habits which affects you. What I really want to appeal to our Black society is this: we need to be ignorant and start to invest more in financial knowledge, because our downfall, at the other hand, we don't have financial knowledge. We assume that we have everything under control. This PhD guy who I love to listen to, he said, the more I learn, the more I discover that I don't know. And I was like, but you are the one who's teaching us every day. You have a PhD in psychology, PhD in, but you say the more you learn is the more you discover that you don't know. And in our eyes, you are our hero. So our people need to invest in knowledge. The more they invest in knowledge, that's what they're going to even to understand what is a habit. How does a habit affect me? Because you decide your habits decide your future. So have those small habits. My brother was laughing at me. I was telling him and said, and now every day I have this thing, this automatic stash thing that helps me to save 10 rand a day. I was laughing and said, 10 rand a day. I have other savings. I had other savings because I save a lot. And this one of 10 rand, like he was like, 10 rand is nothing. I said, it's not about the size of the money, it's the size of habit which I'm developing. If I can develop this habit, the money won't matter, because if I can be able to practice it over and over again, now the amount will change. I can be able now to save 10,000 a day because I was able to save 10 rand a day. So don't look at the amount, look at the habit, because the habit is greater than the amount. So if I messed up with $1 million, I messed up with 10 million, I messed up with $1 billion. But if I'm disciplined with 10 rand, I'm disciplined with 20 rand, 100 rand, 1,000 million, I'm disciplined. So it's not about the amount, it's all about the person who's going to handle the amount. A vessel is always greater than what's coming in. If the vessel is broken, no matter what comes in, it will always go down. So your habits determines your future. So and there is this notion that we always have. We say, budgeting now, it doesn't start from there. Start with those small amounts that you're having. Start with those small things which you're earning. Practice those steps. Practice them. And then it will build a routine in you. So consistency in budgeting creates a room to build passive income and manage your wealth. So if you can be consistent in practicing, and I know most of the time when we start a new year, we have new year resolutions of saying, oh no, this year I want to save a lot, I want to invest a lot. But after March, we're exhausted. We're exhausted now. When I say, I'll try next year. I'll try it next year. So in psychology, they call it the habituation struggle. So the habituations, they say, if a person, the way it's like it's a study of how the brain adjusts in something, and say once they do it over and over again, it runs out of their own conscious, and then they say, no, let me just leave it like that. I'll see it maybe after next year. I'll be able to survive through this thing. So you need to be consistent. You need to, because I was reading this biography. What was the biography of this is so successful in America. He said like, how do you define success? Obviously, when you define success in a beautiful way. But he said success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Like you go from failure to failure, but still you continue with the goal. You continue with the same energy. You're still excited. Like you go to it, and the other one said, he said, what is a commitment? The other one was dealing with commitment. He said, commitment is the ability to continue with your vow, even when the feeling of excitement is no longer there. You remember when the first time you went to gym, you were so excited, like we were so excited going there, say, even take pictures, went to social media, guys, now I'm exercising, or the day you started diet, like so excited. And then go to the second day, the excitement is still there. And then go there, but on the third day, be like, yo, my body is now like it's feeling some pain. And be like, let me just skip today, I'll go tomorrow. You skip today, tomorrow, and say, nah, I'll go Friday, but it's a busy day. I'll go on Monday because weekend I'm busy. Monday, and then the next thing is gone. You're no longer going to gym because the excitement is no longer there. So commitment is that ability to remain consistent, even when the feeling of excitement is no longer there. I'm no longer feeling excitement now. I have to deal with the pain because my body is no longer responding as it used to be. It's not used to this kind of things. It's now feeling pain. So I have to go through those things and be able to break out in that pain. So that's commitment. Anything that you like, anything that are doing, still feeling excited, you are still on the surface. The time you start to feel the pain, they start to feel like it's like reading a book. I don't know you guys if you read books. What I've noticed about reading books, when you buy a new book, the title is so exciting. When you read it, like you're so excited, first day excited, but the next day you want to read it, be like, you're lazy to read it. That's where the real reading starts. When the excitement is no longer there, that's where the real starting start. Same thing with your finances. Do it first month, you save. It's like so exciting. You even tell your friends, I've started a new habit of saving. Second month, but the third month challenges also come in and be like, yeah, like you are now tossing a throw. There is a battle there in your mind. But that's where the true commitment starts. That's where the true commitment starts, and that's where the true budgeting or the true whatever it might be starts, because the feeling of excitement is no longer there. So now you're dealing like it is the adaptation of your brain. It is at the end of itself. It's not used to that. And then when you continue, it's now to build, the neurons start to build another path, which is going to help you now to adjust around the new way of living. So let me just check why do people hate budgeting? We're going to check these 5 things and drop it here. I'll see how we're going to finish this budgeting thing, because I've been on budgeting and I just wanted to clear out the budgeting part because it's critical for me. So why do people hate budgeting? Let's check these facts and we'll pause from here and we'll see when to continue. So number 1, budgeting feels like it's too restrictive, like it limits me to be me. But what you need to understand is that a good budget helps you to do what you have to do. That's what I love. It helps you to do what you have to do. But if you feel like you're too restricted, like there are these guys, I'm still working with them because I'm working with different businesses. So, but you have some limits. There are some grounds with these guys. There are some grounds which I said, on this one I won't be able to go with them because of the kind of thing that they have. So these guys, man, they make a lot of money. Like I am the one who processes the invoice. It must pass through me, so and then I send back to them and say, here the invoice, and then they go to work. So we discover that in a day I can write invoices that can be. We don't have a less invoice there that is less. Like when we say we're dealing with a less invoice, that's just a small work. It's an invoice of around 24 to 30,000. That's a small invoice that we do. Other than that, the invoice must be 700 to 800. Discover that maybe in a day I'm going to do 5 to 10 invoices, 700 to 800,000. So, so those guys, man, like, be like, okay, buy these, like, buy cars this year. I said, this year? No, last year. Last year, we bought Golf 7. After 2 months, Golf 8. like house, like buying stuffs. And I remember the other day we sat down and said, you need to create assets because you can't guarantee this thing. You need to create assets which are going to help you to be able to have rest, man. And you can't guarantee this thing. And like, yeah, you're right. But after that, the person will go and do their own stuff. And I end up feeling like maybe these guys, they feel like I want to control them in their own mind. So what I will do, I'll just continue writing the invoices and do business like that. Like I write the invoice and make sure that we are okay with SARS and everything is okay there. And yeah, we are fine with that part. Like I will do my part. But in terms of how do they behave around their man, I'll just cut myself off because the more I try to help them, is the more like they feel like I want to control them over their own mind. So that's how you feel when it comes to budgeting. You feel like you are restricted in your own mind. And sometimes you have these things like you live once, you have to enjoy. Budgeting doesn't mean you won't be able to enjoy your life, but you enjoy life within your own means. Because there is something called enjoying life while it's foolishness. And then there are people, they commit some crazy mistakes when it comes to their finances, and one day those things will come and hit them down. So it may sound like it's too restrictive, but it's good because at any space where there are no principles, then someone is going to suffer. So secondly, the reason why people, they don't like budget, that budgeting requires you to have a vision. There is this mother, it's called Helen Keller. Helen Keller, she was born blind. From birth, she was blind. And she was asked one day on a radio interview, like, what is the worst thing that can happen to a human being beside being born blind? And then Helen Keller, she said, the worst thing that can happen to a person beside being born blind is having eyes without vision, or having sight but without vision. In other words, my life is so peaceful and my life has a meaning without, I can't, like, she have never seen anything at all, but she's one of the most influential people. And she said, the worst thing that can happen to a person is that you have eyes but you don't have a vision. And when you absorb those words, they are too powerful. That there are a lot of people who Miles Monroe ended up saying this. He said, in fact, your eyes are so destructive to the point that many people, they live with two eyes, but they don't have vision at all. So if you want to deal with budget, you need to have a vision. What is it that you are budgeting towards to? You may be say, okay, I want to settle my bond, I want to settle my house, I want to build. Like, you must have a vision. What is it that exactly that pushes you to have a budget? You must have a certain vision. I wanna retire early. I wanna like you have a vision. Personally, I'm a visionary. I'm no longer tossed afro by the things which are happening, and sometimes you discover that people are doing this and you feel like, oh, I'm left beyond, I'm left behind. Like we can even be friends, but I believe we have different visions, we have different drives. Currently, me and my friends, we are building houses in the village, and we're building houses as houses. Like, so I was looking at my friends, like how they build their, like, theirs is already like complete. Mine is still like going. So I was looking at it and say, these are the houses that you'll only see them maybe in the estates. These are expensive houses, and say. But I also need to balance this. The aim is value. We wanna transform the mindset of saying, when we are in the village, we only just live ordinary lives, and then we'll have our houses there in an estate, and then we are done with the village. No, wanna have a balance. Having a proper thing in the village while we have ours in the estate is okay. So that's our drive. But the thing is this, I say, we can be friends, but there must be that thin line that says, I don't want to be a copycat of my friend, or maybe my friend become what is so-called a competition. We do this thing and we inspire each other, but still that thin line must be there. That I'm able to have my own vision. What is that I visualize? Now I'm a generational thinker. I mean, like, whatever I do, I said there will be a generation that, like, okay, I'm paving a way that there will be people who will come after me. I'll never see them with my own eyes, but they will enjoy the fruits of what I did. So I always have that conscience to say, some of them, I won't see them. I won't see them at all. But they will definitely see there was a man here who paved this way. So I'm not distracted. So if you want to practice these things, you must also have your own vision. What is your own vision? It's not my vision. It's not their vision. It's not our vision. It's your own vision. So number 3, budget or budgeting forces you to face your own reality. The reality of I was telling someone, said you need to print out your bank statement and check how much you spend. I can't do that. I'm traumatized to check my own bank statement. It will drain me. I said, but you can't confront something that you don't know. If you want to confront the wrong habits, you have to look at your own bank and say, this is me, that I've spent this money. So the reason why most people, they don't want budgeting, they are not yet ready to face reality. Or in fact, they don't want to face reality because there's no such thing that we are not ready. They don't want to face their own reality. So budgeting will force you to face your own reality in terms of how much you earn, how you spend it, where are you. So people, they don't like it because they have to go through that cycle of dealing with their own realities. The last thing is our short-term focus. One writer said it's better to sacrifice short-term pleasure in order to enjoy long-term results. So sometimes you can feel the push, and I understand like the social pressure is too much. You go to social media, there is too much pressure. Sometimes even at church, we have indirect competition, like going to church now, they say, sister so-and-so bought a car, let's go out, all of us, to pray for that car. Next thing, sister so-and-so, brother, so, like everyone seems like it's buying a kind of like, I want to jump in and fit in. But the thing is, we are not coming from the same background, not dealing with the same problem. We're not even having the same income. So sometimes a short-term focus can pushes you to that corner to feel the pressure and say, I want to fit in also. I want to do this and this and this. We live once. Well, see, Maxwell said this, he said, we live once, but if you know what you're living for, once is enough. So these are the reasons that makes people to hate budget. But I wanna urge you guys that let's have a proper a personal budget, and let's do it now. But I'll also suggest that after the minister have outlined the budget, we need to go back again to do some adjustments, because whatever is going to lay on the table is going to affect our finances. I'm sure about that. Whatever is going to suggest is going to affect our finances somehow. So we need to restructure again. We need to restructure. Now we must structure, and then after his speech, we restructure again. Like we're soldiers, guys. We need to soldier on. This economy requires us to soldier on. So let's balance these. I'm going to finish this budgeting lesson. I'll see when, but I'll also make sure that I share with you the side hustles, like some of the side hustles that I use to make money, and I believe they can also help you to make extra money. And yeah, that's it for tonight. I don't know if you guys have a certain question. You can ask a question. Okay, before I close, you need to make sure that you practice this thing of tracking or your own spendings every month to track. I'm going to show you how to track your own finances to be sure that you're in the right track in terms of how you deal with your finances. So yeah, we pause here for tonight. I don't know if there is anyone with a question. Sentolo.